The Democrats are just like, sorry, kid. If you want to succeed, go to Palatine. You have an opportunity there. And this actually happened to me. I've been kind of like, my journalism has always just been a passion ever since I've been a little kid. And I was trying to kind of, I guess, set up a Democrat state senator where I noticed he was using his like law email for some government stuff. And so I sent a troll email to Lou Lang in 2007, like a long time ago. He ended up getting Me Too'd and canceled. But I met with him just to kind of prove that he was using that email. But in our meeting, he basically says like, hey, Max, I know you're a Republican. And if you so I can't help you. But if you ever want to succeed in politics, just drop the Republican label and we'll get you on a library board. And you serve in the library board for 2 years, then you'll have you working for a state rep, then you'll be a state rep and you move your way up. But I think a lot of these Republicans are people that were in that system, but they never got to AAA. They were in single A high baseball, but for whatever reason. So those are a lot of Republicans, but a lot of them are just like, because they have such lack of power, it's just like your everyday hustlers that just found their way in.
What about the Democratic Party?
So I used to be a big Madigan hater. I emailed every single state rep saying we got to get him under RICO charges in like 2008. Huge, not a fan of CTU, SEIU. Not a fan of like really going back to like what's called the University of Chicago, socialist, Rules for Radicals, Saul Alinsky. I ran against Jan Schakowsky. So Chicago has a lot of really bad Democrat history. But what's very interesting is like for my evolution, it seems like there was a lot of I think we went from organized crime to disorganized crime with the Democrat Party. It seems like it's a lot more disorganized, and you're kind of seeing like almost like Mongolian warring factions with SEIU and CTU fighting and Pritzker versus Johnson. So that's pretty exciting, I guess. But what they did to this state is absolutely criminal, disgusting, and terrible, especially what happened during COVID.
So I was living in Georgia during COVID. So I was outside. I was living in Atlanta. You were in Illinois. Can you describe how COVID was, and is that when you start seeing like the real change? That's what I noticed. I mean, even doing my research, it's like I think the party really switched for good in 2019 when a lot of these Democrat socialists snuck in.
Well, I mean, I would just say that COVID gave everyone with bad ideas permission to exercise those bad ideas. So the Democrats were bad before COVID. And I actually got out of Illinois for a year during COVID, from like 2020 to 2021. I lived in Texas with my grandma, my uncle, and she passed away. Rest in peace, Grandma Debbie. And so that was like, but I got to see both. I got to live in Illinois, spend time in Texas, also spend time in Southern Illinois, Madison County. And it's kind of cool to see the night and day differences. Like, cause I'm not vaccinated, not trying to wear a mask, right. never had a fake card. And so in Illinois, I really felt like I was in a zombie movie, like Walking Dead. And like everyone headed out to me, get him, like call the police. He doesn't have his card. And it's cold in Chicago. So I thought that was very cruel. And I'll never forget how certain businesses, certain people treated people, especially now what we know now about the vaccine, especially about the vaccine card. That was crazy. People were being like violent. And like, that was the time where they were the same Democrats that were saying we needed an ID to vote, that a voter ID was like racist, were saying that like 7-year-olds need to show an ID to eat a cheeseburger. It was absolutely insane. But in Texas, I was in Dallas, night and day different. And I got to spend a bunch of time with the Dallas Republican Party. And that was also night and day different. Like I go to Illinois Chicago Republican event. I literally feel like it's a kid to catch a predator house sting. Those kind of events. It's like you feel like you're the inside of a cigar, like in an adult video store. And then you also kind of have women that feel like they're catering to those kind of men, like just like the most disgusting men and women, like inside and out. And then just kind of also very dark and desperate in terms of like what do we have to look forward to election wise. But in Dallas, which is a Democrat city, like technically 300 people, 400 people, more normal. If someone is kind of a red flag person, they kick them out. So that was also kind of that was very inspiring to see that the Illinois Republican Party and Chicago Republican Party have some unique problems that you don't even see in New York, LA, Texas, Democrat states.
You remember when Pritzker went to Florida?
Yeah, and Wisconsin. I feel like he barely was in Chicago during COVID. And also, I was bigger during COVID. During the beginning of COVID, I was making fried rice. That was very dangerous. I would get just so much ground beef, so much onions, peanut sauce, soy sauce, sweet and sour. Just mix so many sauces, eggs, and just make just pounds at a time. And so I got really big. And then when I'm a science data person. I looked at the data, and they were saying that people with pre-existing conditions and who were obese were dying. So I actually made my health a bigger focus. And so at that same time, like Pritzker was at his peak fast. That was also annoying to have him be the health czar, like giving me health advice. and on his hammock in Florida, it's probably triple reinforced.
So, Mugshot Mondays.
Yeah.
Thank you for the idea. This was funny and a good idea. So, what mugshot that they love to throw around, like they like to throw my mugshot around? What happened, Max?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said, what happened?
I plead the fifth. It's my favorite amendment. No, I'm kidding. I actually spoke at the Arlington Heights. It was during the craziest part. I was running for Congress when I got arrested. So it really shows you what a joke the media is and the Republican Party, because they're talking about it now, but no one talked about it when I was running for office in 2022. I had a political event. Then I was doing stand-up comedy while I was running, and my comedy was very political, so it was a 2-for-1. And then and then I went out, which was a big mistake. And I went out, shout out. I shouldn't even say it because I went out with a somewhat famous actor and a somewhat famous director. I'm not going to mention their names because they'll probably get in trouble because they still have careers. But we all went out downtown. There was a fellow comedian that it seems like was sending some romantic signals my way, and the owner of the venue was her date. And so there's some conspiracy there potentially that because I basically got arrested by the bouncer at a club for an altercation. And a lot of it was due to my intoxication level, and I'm saying I'm not proud of it. Don't please, they call it spirits for a reason. But even the police said you should have run. Like, so that's another lesson to you kids is don't drink, don't beat up bouncers, but if you do, run. And then 64-year-old Chippendales waiters won't make fun of you on Facebook every day. Have you seen that, Zoe? No. I feel like it's like 3 posts a day from a 64, 65-year-old man.
I know a lot of people were upset that
it's like putting, yeah. And you probably can't show those photos. They're pretty vulgar.
I probably can. I mean,
hello? I'm having bad reception. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I said that if you send them to me, I probably can punch them.
Well, one's me with semen, one's me getting raped, one's me with the KKK, one's me with the special helmet with the rainbow flag. The funniest part is this guy's married and he's 64 years old, so I just imagine him with 80s music in the background, sipping Mountain Dew, getting a picture of a naked guy and then putting my face on it.
And what do they talk about? What is the...
There's no substance to it. So what they talk about is they say, I'm gay, I'm special needs, I'm a Democrat, and I don't even, I have a small penis, that's one thing. I'm first of all, not true. just wild, what? Yeah, Democrat, small penis, special needs, gay, but the reason why the insults are in that direction and not of the substance is because this entire instance just started from me accusing him of being a January 6th informant. That's really what this is about. But they don't want to have that discussion, so it's much easier to have this discussion of you're gay, your special needs, because that's a much easier debate. Because what's the if someone says you're gay, what's the intelligence response to that? No, I'm not. I swear. That's just, and even if you are, that's your personal life. But they're going in that direction because it distracts from my main point, is that I think a lot of Republicans are controlled oppositions and are paid or unpaid disruptors. And so a lot of the reasons why Democrats think that we're crazy and we're white nationalists and that we want to take people's rights away is because I think Democrats or not-for-profits pay people to act that way. It's like almost like the WWE, because there's no one like Darren Bailey actually made a good point. Is people are tired of Pritzker. If you like his like voter enthusiasm is going down in the amongst Democrats, independents, and Republicans, and so you need a cartoon character villain for Democrats to win elections. And that's what we're seeing it. We're seeing it with candidates, but I do think a lot of the activists talking smack about me who don't want to talk about substances, I do think are controlled opposition. And I can go into my evidence too. But it's a large phenomenon. Andrew Wetz, I can't pronounce his name. He actually ran for governor in the Rauner primary. Adam, and I can send you the article. But he ended up writing. He passed away. But before he passed away, he wrote for Forbes, and he exposed all the ridiculous spending by Fauci. But he also wrote an article about how the FBI itself spends $500 million a year on confidential informants. And so a lot of people that are extremists, that you think are extremists, I think are honeypotting people or trying to start something to push an agenda, whatever that agenda may be. Because that 500 million figure is just the FBI. That doesn't include not-for-profits or people that do it for fun. Like I know a Jewish organization and a friend that it does take part in it, where he goes on the extremist chats and like rile stuff up and then take screenshots, and then they make books and give it to the FBI. So I think a lot of the hate towards me is actually that, and so that's why I don't. I'm focused.
I'm starting to see like that it's like we in the real world, like we're in a reality show or something. Like it's the weirdest thing.
Hey, that's what in politics, especially in politics, it's a mirage. Is people need to realize that like 5 to 9 out of 10, every 10 conversations you have politically, there'll be some sort of agenda and it'll be a fake conversation. Where that person that's reaching out to you, Zoe, that's like saying like to support a candidate, like really is getting paid by that candidate. Or they're telling you, you really shouldn't go after Ryan. I don't want to pick on Ryan Fest, but you shouldn't go after Ryan Fest, or you shouldn't go after Alexi. Like that person might be getting paid by that person. And so it's very common in politics. And also the riling it up. There's a great movie with William Shatner, directed by Roger Corman, called The Intruder, about in the 1960s, groups from DC were sending people into the South to start race riots, to rile up white people to start conflict. And so I do think a lot of that's happening. And a lot of the people, like a good kind of red flag in my opinion, is like people that pick issues that the FBI and DOJ like warn about extremism. So like during the Biden years, Biden said that if you question elections, you could be on a terrorist watch list. If you question school curriculum, you could be on a terrorist watch list. If you're a part of J6, you could be a part of a terrorist watch list. And all these fools that keep making pictures about me, they great movie. They usually pick these topics and they switch from topic to topic. They don't have a consistent thing. They go from voting to school to Islam, and it's usually associated to what the FBI cares about or not-for-profits. Like, Zoe, do you know that he's 64 years old. His first incidence of political activism ever was January 6th, ever. And he was a Democrat before that. His first political event was he drove in a car with a Cook County former Cook County sheriff to DC to January 6th with a bulletproof vest and with Bufang radios. So with his words, not my words, so he can communicate with the 3%ers and Proud Boys. And I was ready to fight. I couldn't wait we were there to fight Antifa. And he's wearing his bulletproof vest, and he's there at the gates while people are breaking in, filming people. And estimated he filmed over 70 people cross the gates. He filmed people also having altercations with police, but magically he got in zero trouble whatsoever. And the only trouble that guy says he got into is he goes, they took me off TSA pre-check. First of all, that's some pretty privileged thing to be on in the first place. Second of all, you have a record of selling cocaine and grenades. You might have gotten taken off for that reason. They don't tell you why they took you off. And third of all, you were able to get back on TSA pre-check and fly to your destination. That's some confidential informant privilege right there. Yeah.
Some guy named Jim Lanham. You know who he is?
Yeah, Jim Lanham. Yeah, he's his he's his lieutenant. He's like five. I met him in person. And so it was a great experience. So he's someone that like likes to put out pictures about me every single day. I got to meet him in person. I sit right next to him, and he tries to stand me up. And the craziest part is when he's standing up, we're at the same eye level. So he's got to be like 5'1", and he's like a Paul Bart Mall security cop at a bank. And there's a lot of controversies there. They give me they like to read the riot act because there was an incident where he was the last person to see someone, or one of the last people to see someone who fell into a river. I've never accused him of murder, but like he's just like it, like he really likes to dip his nose in a lot of political and criminal cases where it's kind of weird, where I suspect he might be a criminal informant of some sorts too. And I always ask him, like, why aren't you law enforcement? Like you love politics, you love the law so much, like why are you law enforcement? And it could be because of a mental health check. I don't know. But he's very loud online. He runs for office a lot. And pretty like Zoe, has he reached out to you? Because like anytime I go on any sort of show, like they get 100 messages from him.
No, he just was in the comments saying that you're a fucking bitch. And that's why no one likes you, you little penny waist lying bitch.
Yeah, why don't you have Jim? Why don't you have substance?
Dropping you after 12 hours.
Yeah, so I saw him in person. I was talking about his deformed hands to you in person, Jim. And I was everything I'm saying on this podcast. I said this on the face, but you're in the comments being like, "You're a bitch. You're stupid. You're a bitch." So we're different. That's for sure. But it seems artificial why he cares so much.
So Terry started his career June 6th.
January 6th, January 6th, 2021. Never was involved in politics at all.
What was he? Like,
His oil were breaking up. So before that, he was an actual criminal informant against the Cali cartel and the Vice Lords. And then after he was a criminal informant, he worked for like tech. He was in like tech sales, which to me is something where they would place a DOJ type person. And the funniest thing about this is the most recent job that I'm aware of that he does is his big identity is that he wants to fight immigration, and he's on the streets exposing lie 100%, Terry. Do you not?
I was making so much money with DoorDash. I wanted to earn money in my free time, but I didn't want to go out and get a boring 9-to-5.
Workers in Monterrey, Mexico, and then also people that work remote in India. His company, For a Living, works with major corporations and the government. Your CEO has top clearance with DOD, to replace jobs, to replace high-paying tech jobs. My generation was decimated because my generation was the one that got rich off of software and coding, where you didn't have to go to college and you can get $100 an hour to code. But Terry, For a Living, takes American workers and replaces them with Indians that you can pay for literally 10 cents on the dollar, are also the H-1B, where they have a facility from Monterrey, Mexico, and then they bring them in. They help them with the paperwork and everything. And his company, we don't even have to dox the name because he likes to complain about it, but it's just a fact that his company has a DEI policy and brags about being 90% non-white. So he's the DEI hire of his company, but his whole persona is I'm anti-DEI, I'm anti-critical race theory, we're anti-porn in schools. But he's also a card-carrying member of SAG. So he's a card-carrying member of SAG. Immigration is how he puts food on the table, but his like fake online persona is that he's an activist that's like fighting immigration and trying to save elections and stop porn in schools and now Islam's his big thing. He really jumps from topic to topic of whatever the Department of Defense says is something to be on the watch list.
Well, okay.
Yeah. That was But yeah, so but he basically, so the crazy thing is, he definitely was away from politics. It was criminal informant, corporate sales, and then just out of nowhere, right when Chris Wray FBI is like, hey, if you question the election, you might be a terrorist. He suits up with a former Cook County sheriff, and they drive to DC.
Why is Joe Servino suing all these people? Terry Newsom, Jim, Aaron, Jim. Mendrix, Tom divorce.
Oh, because they falsified information, which is a fair thing to sue, like Noah, and we've both met Noah before. He's he's an out there individual, but I think it's now settled that Noah and Terry have like falsified information, and you can't do that. And so I believe Joe's suing him for slander. I'm not like too particular with the case, but like good for him. Good for him. Like I would sue them for slander. It's hard to prove damages when you're calling someone like a bitch.
Oh man, I thought Terry was cool, but Terry,
he is cool. He still is cool.
To me, Terry took it too far. I was cool with Terry, but Terry said you were a problem, and then you told me he was a problem, and I both told you at the end of the day I could separate it. I don't care about that, but he was so busy worried I was going to talk about you. I mean, that I was going to believe what you were saying when it came to him. But at the end of the day, every time Terry has never came through the way that I like Chicago Fist Red has came through for him. When he did the podcast, they're yelling us. We went all the way out to Never Never Land. We did the podcast with him. Then, we tried to do the Tom Holman thing, but he didn't want to take my suggestion because I think a lot of people think that people use us as these black women pawns, like we're like a minstrel show or something like that, instead of like I gave him a suggestion with bringing Tom Holman to Chicago theater and doing an evening with Tom Holman, and then basically people think that he's this white nationalist and this racist. So I'm explaining to him, if you guys do an event at the Chicago theater and you guys talk about, what's going on at stake with the illegal immigrants coming over here and all this, but he wanted to do a whole rally. He just wanted to get as childish as DSA instead of let's bring this into a theater and let's talk about what's at stake, with our country, and people show that we are civilized. And he didn't.
Yeah, that'd be bad for his career.
Yeah, so that'd be bad
for his career. That would hurt his main job is relies on H-1B visas. And so if you're saying like, hey, Tom, crack down on because that's the main time of illegal immigrant are people that are overstaying H-1B or overstay visas. And so if you have an event that unites Chicago at Chicago Theater, which would have been awesome, and does really well, and paints Tom Holman and his mission in a different light, that'd be terrible for Terry's main career. And his show's called Behind Enemy Lines, which I think is like almost a big FU to all of us. That's because who's the enemy? I think it's us.
Oh, no. See, and Terry Newsom said, no, you never did anything for me. Nothing. You asked Danielle to be on your panel all the way out of Never Never Land. Then you asked us to be on your podcast, what we did. And then you came to us about Tom Holman. And I gave you the suggestion of bringing it to Chicago Theater. I told Miss Susan Sweeney. I told a couple of other people as well, because I was trying to get you guys to understand that people think that we're antagonists. At this time, we were on a bingo card. Like we were these people that were out here, whatever. That's not me. And I was trying to explain that to him, but he didn't care. During that time, we were at the Black Caucus. I got all these as text messages. I really don't want to do this to you, my boy, but I can. And we were in D.C. for the Black Caucus. He wanted Danielle to fly back. He wanted to do this big thing in front of the federal building because they wouldn't bother us or anything. But nobody didn't want to spend that money. Nobody didn't want to spend the money to go to do Chicago Theater. That's just basically what it was. Then we had a press conference. The press conference came the day after, unfortunately, Charlie Kirk got killed. Everybody decided to back away from the press conference, but they basically wanted us to not do the press conference and pay homage to Charlie Kirk, but everyone went out and did their own thing. That day, he didn't do our press conference, but he went out to the south suburbs to go bully them liberals into your video. Other people didn't come to the press conference, but that evening they were at Concerned Parents event that she had out in DuPage. But we were disrespectful for doing our press conference that we were putting together because we have an active genocide going on in our community. So once I started seeing that they were full of shit, then I started moving around and doing my own thing. So I don't respect Terry Newsom off of that. And plus, Terry Newsom talks a lot of stuff about us on social media and doesn't think somebody's going to talk back. And I'm the wrong person.
And Terry, that's my problem with you, is just be consistent. Stop with this split personality nonsense.
Because if we didn't need you, you asked for us to be there. Now I got to block you because you're a liar.
And he was my source, Zoe. How about that? Up until I was writing articles about James Mendrix. He was my source. Terry was the one that gave me James Mendrix Xbox Halo handle, which is pretty funny.
Yeah,
the sheriff of Duquesne County has a really impressive Halo score. But so Terry is like private, and he posted about it. I have the screenshot where he's talking about how great the Illinois record is, and he's giving me information. But then now publicly, I'm a Democrat shill, and what does he say about you, Zoe? Because I think a lot of it's derogatory, like. Yeah.
I got no respect for him.
He's like a 2-year-old.
Yeah,
I have to go to a schoolyard to get the insults.
It makes sense. Like.
Yeah, it's the prison yard mentality. Oh, you know what's so interesting that he said, Zoe, and I had the screenshot, is he said in prison that he was a Latin king and that he used to sell guys like me, or that he would sell a guy like me, which he thought was like, which a prison mentality is like, what a great insult. But my mentality is like, you're in the Latin Kings and used to sell guys, and you were like Italian, Polish. He was with what's it called, like a cocaine, like the chop shops. They would sell cocaine out of a car dealership, and he didn't even have the courage to be a cocaine dealer. And I'm not that's terrible to be a cocaine dealer. He was a cocaine dealer recruiter. He was like the MLM for a cocaine dealership. And then he claims he didn't rat on his friends, but I think it's pretty remarkable that he only served 2 years at the height of the
definitely a snitch.
High of the 80s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he confirmed snitched, but it's a question of how much he snitched, because it is a confirmed that he snitched on the Cali cartel and the Vice Lords.
Yeah,
and the selling grenades.
He's probably getting CVI money too, DEI.
Yeah, he is DEI. He's a DEI of his company. Like it says, 90% diverse. So that means he's a DEI hire at his company. And that's not the irony.
They really can't stand you. They make all these pages of you.
It's because of what I'm saying. Because the last time I saw him was at the Joe Severino case, and because I had to, I was a witness, and in which Jenny was a witness. Jenny McGuire, the former radio host, was a witness for Joe Severino. So it's very interesting to see her kind of say 180-degree different things than she said only a month ago. But at the case, here's to kind of show you the Terry Newsom playbook. It's pretty remarkable. Is I like to confront my accusers, and so I walk into the courthouse. I walk in. I sit next to Terry and Jim Lanham. Jim Lanham, all 5 foot of him, tries to trip me with his foot. Puts his foot out like this to try to trip me, which is just weird and petty. Then I sit down next to Terry. He puts his hand on me and just yells, "Gay, cunt, gay." 3 times in a Lake County courthouse, a court setting. And while this is happening, Jim Lanham runs to a security guard to try to get me arrested. And then not only 10 minutes later, Tom DeVore, the genius lawyer on the case, he lost the case. Terry Newsom argued he was ineffective counsel. I agree. But I went outside and I pulled out my phone pretending like I was going to take a picture, just kind of trolling a little bit. And within 5 seconds, Tom DeVore goes to a security guard, try to get me arrested. Because I think one thing that we share, Zoe, is I know, like you for politics, you are young. Anyone under 65 is young in politics. So I think part of the universal dilemma too is that like you get picked on because they don't want younger people to succeed, and they don't want anyone to succeed. Period, because it ruins the grift.
Right. Because that's what it is. They have turned it into a political grift on both sides.
Absolutely, and they work together, and they're friends.
It's a prime example. They weird,
and they are friends. They definitely are friends. Don't forget that. There's a lot of people think that they're fighting, but behind closed doors, they're yucking it up, and they need each other. Because Democrats, the only reason why they're able to, they need it, like they can't be so inactive unless they have these villains, which are Republicans. We are so lucky that the Democrats are fighting right now. So this could be an opportunity for Republicans 2026, but I've never seen a worse group of candidates in Illinois Republican history. Like this has to be the worst group of candidates, and the least amount of candidates. I'm in District 9. I think like 80% of my ballots could be blank from like state rep and all the judges.
So what do you think? Why do you think that's the problem?
So Illinois is the hardest place to run. We have the most amount of elected officials, over 40,000 elected officials, and it's also the hardest place to run for office. And so it's the evil, the corruption is hidden in plain sight. Hannah Arendt called it the banality of evil. Evil is boring. And so they're able to do so much oppression, able to mess with so many lives, redistribute wealth for them. It's crazy. You have all these enclaves of rich government people and government adjacent people that are using your and I money to have generational wealth while squashing yours and making it impossible for my generation, future generations to own houses. And it's able to happen because it's so boring. It's so there's so much paperwork. And it's like, but if the people woke up, it could be done. If people are watching right now and decide to, if just a mass amount of people decide to run for office, I think that would fix the problem. Easy.
So when are you gonna run again?
Never. Are we breaking up? If anyone wants to run, please feel free to reach out to me because I will help anyone get on the ballot or kind of help protect you from people like that because it is inevitable. But the thing why you need to not be so scared about trolls like Terry Newsom is that no matter what you do, if you're successful in life, you're going to have people opposing you. If you're successful in business endeavors, your competitors are going to be against you. If you're successful in Hollywood, you'll have haters. And politics is really just Hollywood for ugly people. So
right. No, I'm not. I don't rock with him. He owes me an apology, and all his little minions that's around him that think that he's this big hero, and he's not. He's just, I don't know what he.
Well, if he dealt cocaine and grenades, what is that? Or if he because that's why he got people to deal cocaine. So if he convinced people to throw their lives away and be cocaine dealers, and then also was considering selling grenades to people, like what does that say about his character? And I know that is the past. He's like, oh, I was 30 years ago. But what has he shown that he's changed in his values, his behavior, and how he treats people?
Actually,
it's selfish. He's worse.
Getting worse. They all getting worse. But I see what their problem is. It's a new generation coming in, and instead of being teachers or advisors, they want to continue to do the same thing, and it's not going to work. People aren't going anymore. Your kids aren't going. Stop embarrassing your kids. That's the problem. Because I know, I know kids are watching us, and I know they see their parents.
I'm hopeful of that though, because kids rebel, so they're going to rebel away from the nonsense that's going on. So that's the good news.
Right. So, what do you think about the election, the governor election coming up?
What a terrible time to be voting. What are we going to do? Because I can't vote for Colin Corbett. I cannot vote for J.B. Pritzker. That is not happening. That's never happening. And it's so hard. Bailey, I do think Bailey probably is the worst person in Illinois Republican politics because he claims to be religious.
Hold on.
So it's gonna be really, really hard to vote for Bailey. And he's been campaigning like a Democrat. And I'm not sure if it just came out today that one of his donors was a convicted sex offender. That came out today, Sun-Times. You're gonna see a lot of stories like that, in my opinion, from now until election day.
Why not him?
He's a goofy, as they say.
I was
with him at a private luncheon with a lot of Democrat and Republican elites, and he was there. And it was kind of an opportunity for him to showcase himself. And he was just silent. I really wonder why. There's a lot of conspiracies that he's a Pritzker plant himself, and like what's his purpose for running. And I think he just convinced some stupid rich person that he has a chance. Because that's why I've always respected his consulting company Core a little. I don't respect the consulting company, but I've always respected it a little more than others because his game is convincing rich people to extract their money he's a good money extractor from rich people. So I think he probably extracted money from 2 to 4 millionaires, and will funnel it to himself or to friends, whether through vendors or through mailing, because he is a consultant that has 5 consulting companies. And Zoe, hello.
Yeah.
One evidence for Colin Corbett one evidence that Colin Corbett is not running a serious campaign is he said that he was going to start a third party movement in Illinois, and I support that. That'd be amazing. Part of the problem with the lack of options is that it's so hard for the third parties to get on the ballot. They need 10 times the signature requirement. But one reason why I don't think Colin Corbett is serious is he decided to run as an independent, and he didn't create a third party. Because if you create a third party and if you get 5%, you would have wide election. Colin Corbett did not do that. So he's just having a good time extracting money from who knows whoever, and he'll probably get like 2 to 5%. And politically, I align more with a Bailey. Like, I endorsed Bailey. I did 5 events with Bailey when I ran for Congress in 2022. So I would say I helped Bailey. And but I just think he's just such a liar. Like, what a fake human being. Across the board.
Yeah, I'll rock
It's like shamelessly fake. And then he's really getting exposed right now, the way he's campaigning as a Democrat, where he's striking with the unions. He's like, hey guys, the scabs are crossing the picket line. They're not paying the scab. They're paying the scabs $17.50 when, it's absolutely ridiculous what's going on. Now apparently he's pro-abortion, I guess. Whatever. Wasn't he in Inglewood yesterday with his wife wearing Reeboks? They're at Harold's Chicken. We're on a listening tour. Meet the voters where they are. We're at Harold's Chicken. Can I get some more mild sauce? No, it's absolutely ridiculous to see the pandering and the the two-facedness. And then also, I've always, like, when I was a little kid, I always measured campaigns not where they got the money from, but how they spend their money. Because if they're going to spend our tax money, I think how they spend their campaign money is a good indicator. So I've always been a huge campaign finance nerd, and I advise everyone here to go to IllinoisSunshine.com, go to the FEC.gov, go to the Illinois State Board of Election website, and nerd out on your favorite candidates. But the way that Darren Bailey has spent money last campaign and this campaign are just such a grift, such a joke, offensive to everyone. Last campaign, so I live in Chicago. Darren Bailey, I think he stayed in like the Hancock or Center or the Trump Towers, like a very nice building in Chicago last election, but wasn't in Chicago. And I was like, huh? And then I realized that he has all these young staffers that are out partying. They're texting my volunteers. My volunteer got a text from a Bailey employee that was mentioned in one of the demand letter incidents, saying that he wanted to put his DNA in my volunteer, who was a single mother. And so his whole staff, and he wasn't a part of it, but his whole staff was just partying the entire time. And that is so counter to I'm just a small, humble farmer. I know how much the cost of gas is. His first event, they got bottle service at ESCO. They took a party bus to the West Loop to get bottles, and he's lecturing. I know what the cost of gas is. Well, what's the cost of a champagne bottle at a club? I don't even know. As though you might know. But isn't that like $600?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I heard they ordered 5 at his first event. And he ran against Gary Rabine, whose lieutenant governor was Aaron Del Mar. And so a lot of people criticize me for writing negative stories about Aaron Del Mar. I got the information from Darren Bailey. He's the one that published all the opposition research in 2022 and was talking about what a bad candidate Aaron Del Mar was up until a couple months ago. But and his chief complaint was that Aaron Del Mar would sell party girls, sell Vegas girls for his events, and would do blackjack. Because I'm a Christian, and I don't believe me. I don't want to disparage. I'm very pro-religious, but he's very I'm just a humble farmer, and we don't gamble, and that doesn't belong in the party and the dancing. And this first event, his speaker was John Cirasani. People that watch probably know John Cirasani, the blackjack influencer, who's just telling teenage kids to go gamble blackjack poorly. And then he's coming out to like, I got 40 pack of Strohs and a bunch of hoes. Introducing Darren Bailey. And then his running mate is the guy that he's literally on camera a couple weeks before saying, I like Aaron, but Aaron doesn't like me because every time Aaron runs, I say don't vote for him. You can trust Aaron as far as you can throw him. And he picks him as his running mate. What does that say about that person's discernment? And then the campaign event. So the craziest thing about campaign finance too, after it's a huge asterisk, is campaign finance is an honor system, and politics is one of the most dishonorable fields. And so a lot of what's reported, you don't 100% believe on face value. So Darren Bailey's first event for this campaign season was paid for by a PAC called Save Illinois PAC. The person that runs that PAC was someone who I met at 16, 17 years old, was Darren Bailey's former body man driver that hit him with a $700,000 demand letter and the potential lawsuit that was settled. So they settled a lawsuit, and then that kid under 20, he was even under 21 at the end at the time of the event. He was 20 years old. Donated $40,000, $50,000, $70,000 out of the goodness of his heart back to the person he was going to sue for sexual harassment, child labor abuse, that kind of thing. I don't buy it. But that was part of it too. And like at that event, a lot of people concentrated on, there was like an incident on the party bus and the clubs where like a woman was taken to the hospital. And like a lot of people like to go in the weeds of that. But one thing that just isn't talked about is that Aaron Bailey had an event where minors were drinking. The person in question was 20 years old, and he's on police body cams being like, yeah, it's a political event. We were drinking. And I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. This is just something that I've just seen a lot of events of older guys and younger, like teens, usually of age, but under drinking age, in adult situations.
Politics.
Yeah, it feels like the Boy Scouts of America are like more of that nature. Or to catch a predator home is probably more realistic. Because the boys are usually like 18, 19, 20. And I was told that at a young age, I was told to stay away from Mark Kirk because he would get a little handsy with people. but the Illinois, the most powerful Illinois Republican member for over a decade was Dennis Hastert, who admitted in court he was a child molester. So there is still that stain in the Illinois Republican Party, but I really think it's a free-for-all because there's such a lack of power. It's just a power vacuum.
Okay, Dennis Hastert,
Speaker of the House. He was the most powerful. He was the most senior Illinois political person, and a lot of the people that were around him are still here to this day. If you think in football terms, like Bill Belichick or Bill Parcells' coaching tree, or Bill Walsh's.
Is this Dennis?
He was just 2000. Wasn't he George W. Bush's Speaker of the House? Yeah, he was a wrestling coach. And Mark Vargas, good old Mark Vargas, that's where he got his start from. He was an intern for Dennis Hastert, and then an advisor. And then Mark Vargas of the Illinois Review was supposed to run for Congress, but dropped out to help his son. And so one of my proudest moments, funniest moments, is I was at CPAC, and I was more optimistic. I was introducing myself to every media person. And one media group goes, I'm like, hey, I'm Max. I'm with the Illinois Record. Nice to meet you. He goes like, wait, Illinois Record? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, wait, did you write an article about Mark Vargas in the Illinois Review? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, dude, you got to apologize. Man, you got to apologize. He lost a position in Trump's cabinet because of your article. Because apparently when they look up, when you're interviewing people for jobs in the government, they look at everything that's been written about him. And my article on the Illinois Review goes into his history with Dennis Hastert, with the Department of Homeland Security under Bush. So that's another interesting reinvention. How that person is now another face of the grassroots. The Dennis Hastert W. Bush. It's now Mr. MAGA, Mark Vargas. Yeah.
This guy.
This guy. He's dancing with his shirt out yesterday. But yeah, so every article on his, I actually technically wrote for that website, Illinois Review, before he owned it. Fran Eaton was just like an old lady that had a blog. It was more of a boutique blog, but it got big. and people like Charlie Kirk would write on it, and people that were on 560 AM, and state senators, and Aaron Del Mar, and it'd be pretty cool because it was more like a blog that anyone can submit to, and you'd have like arguments where you like I would post and then Terry would post, and that was really cool, very healthy. Him and Scott Kitover somehow convinced Fran Eaton to take over the website, and now it's just like a bunch of AI slop garbage that supports whatever candidate they're like into at the moment. And the guy and once just lack of standards. Like my whole article was about how they criticize me because I criticize Republicans, but I'm like, your owner, not him, Scott Casper, is the one that wrote the 40-page demand letter to Darren Bailey the month before the election in October, and it became a huge Chicago Tribune story. So I'm like, I can't attack Republicans, but you can threaten them for $700,000 the month before an election. And their last tweet was attacking a Republican.
Did Darren pay the $700,000?
You have to think he played something because the Brett Corrigan, the man in question, has been balling out immediately after. Like I kept in touch with him, and especially after the campaign incident, did a bunch of interviewing. Is like a lot of trips overseas, a lot of Bulls games, and so you have to think there was some sort of settlement, and that now they're on good terms. And by the way, Zoe, Brett, and I can say this, Brett's quote to me was he said some of the words in the demand letter were true, some were exaggerated, and that Scott Casper didn't have the authority to even write it because he was a minor at the time, and his guardian would have to sign off on it, and that wasn't possible. Like I think Darren was technically his guardian. So there's that. And so that's why anyone reading the demand letter, and it does exist, and I should probably publish it, but it exists online, is read it with a grain of salt. Yet at the same time, someone that ran in 2022 who did 5 events with Bailey where he was my speaker. Bailey was my opener at the Red Room Comedy Club at Chicago, and that was pretty funny. But some of it is just undeniably true. Like I was a witness to that. Like Brett was put in adult situations. Like there's a story in there about how like one of Bailey's workers like drove him while he was going to have sex with like another volunteer or worker. And like true or not true, he said that to my volunteer while I was on speakerphone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got Darren. Well, Pritzker got to go. Pritzker has to go.
So do we have to impeach? Do we have to remove him? Like I agree with you.
Get the feds here, like.
Yeah.
I don't know if these two are gonna win.
Well, I think Soros had the right idea. He's just like demonic. Is I think we have to figure out a way to infiltrate these like local, like these 2027 elections. Like that might be the way. And so if you notice this, like why don't Republicans ever run for judge? There was 0 for 30 when I last voted.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And so I think that's the way in. And because and also if Bob Fioretti wasn't a freaking like zombified Barry Manilow, if you had a good attorney general, that could be a check against a governor. But he's another joke. Founder of the Aldermanic Progressive Caucus. I don't even know what that is. But anyways, I think they're
called him.
Petrified Barry Manilow. They just like wheel him out like Wickham and Bernie style every election. He's run 8 times. And he just must be a money pit for someone, and he's following the Tony Perico playbook, and Tony Perico is an ally of him, and he's someone that was an elected Democrat, and then is like, as I said, you fail as a Democrat, let me run as a Republican, they'll take me in. Convince a few millionaires, the party goes on. Like Fioretti, I just got a text or an email. He's doing an ad on the Score, like on he's doing ads. He's doing radio ads, and but what people need to realize is that might not win him an election. But if any candidate does an ad, you can take 15 to 50% commission for just the purchase of the ad. So you need Barry Manilow. That's why Barry Manilow, he'll still perform in Branson, Missouri, or like Ravinia. Or like, there's still Barry Manilow. They're even wheeling out Frankie Valli. Like with a backup track. I'm too good to be true. But the reason why he's valuable, he's a known commodity, and so they wheel him out, and I haven't even looked into how much money he has, but I'm sure they could suck a few $100,000, extract a couple $100K.
So you don't think he's gonna beat Kwame because Kwame got to go too.
Kwame is worse. Kwame is arguably worse than Pritzker because he's Pritzker's because he basically exercised. The attorney general is supposed to be independent of governor, and Kwame Rowell could have, in theory, been a hero and been a check during COVID. He's been the exact opposite, and he's also just been like chasing all these nonsense national issues so you can get like a little headline on CNN instead of protecting and helping us, serving us. Yeah, Kwame trash. So, but Zoe, do you have any plans for 2027, outside of Danielle? Because I think it's gonna be bottom up. I really think that's the future. Is like library boards, water reclamation districts. Alderman's pretty high, but still.
I should have done it, but I'm really interested in the school board. I want to like.
Oh, that's hysterical. I've been talking to everyone on the school board races. That is what a dumpster fire, the school board races. And they don't realize, like, you like that's, I'm glad you did it because it's a hot potato, and the school board people don't realize this is whoever wins loses because they're broke.
Right.
Imagine if I had a house that was like $20 million in debt, like a 2,000 square foot house, couple bedrooms, but it's $20 million in debt. Hot potato. And so that's what's going on with the school board. So that's very interesting. But it's cool because CTU is extremely disorganized, but the urban center people are the same kind of dinos. They're dinos, basically, Democrats in name only. But they're the same kind of behavior as these Terry Newsom Republicans. They're just as big grifters. They've just extracted money from Michael Sachs. What's his name? Juan Rangel. And their candidates are like some of the goofiest candidates I've ever seen. Where they're not even, it's the point, Zoe, sometimes there's a point where someone's so not competent where you're like, maybe we should just have the Democrat. This guy can't even tie his shoes. Like my candidate, the Republican candidate, says this is his number one issue. He goes, I'm a weird guy. We gotta bring electric dance music to CPS. That's his top issue. And a lot of them say they're Democrats, and they're like, I'm a Democrat. I'm just not a puppet of the CTU. I'm a puppet of Michael Sachs and Paul Fallis, who's like ruined 5 to 10 different school systems. That's what gets me too, is that we need to also do a better job of having a clearer alternative, because all alternative is just a lesser version.
They say Paul
Fallis. I meant. Yeah, he failed Chicago. He failed Chicago State. He failed New Orleans. He failed Connecticut. Didn't he fail Haiti? I'm pretty sure he failed a country.
Dang.
Like everywhere he goes, that school just either like disappears or goes to absolute garbage. Yeah, he's absolute trash. And the funniest thing ever is when he ran for mayor, I was a deputy committeeman for the Chicago Republican Party. Google me. I'm just kidding. But then the Northwest Side GOP and the Chicago GOP basically said, we're not going to run a candidate. We're supporting Vallis. And I think they endorsed Vallis. And then Vallis said he rebuked the endorsement. So the Chicago Republican Party basically told everyone, get in line. Don't run a Republican. We don't want someone like Danielle who actually is going to stand up for our values. Because even if Danielle loses, she's going to have that platform to talk about things that we care for and move the ball forward. And whether she wins or loses is in God's hands. So people need to stop just getting hung up on these stupid polling and winning and loses and think about actually changing the culture. But so they said, like, forget changing the culture.
Chime fee free banking.
Chicago like had kids in the 90s or grew up in the 90s and they remembered him. So he was just a terrible candidate. He couldn't even beat Brandon Johnson. But we fell in line. Zoe, you know why we fell in line? We fell in line because Paul Vallis gave $600,000 to M3 Strategies, Matt Pajorski, who was the head of Northwest Side GOP. So as you were talking about earlier, a lot of conversations are fake and mirages. And so he's telling people, like, Paul Vallis has the best chance. I think we got to get behind him. This is the best strategy. When in reality, $600,000 check. That's not being discussed.
This is the guy.
And that I don't want to pick on him. It's just that's just the way it works.
No, yeah, there's another guy I think He's headed north. Let me see if this is the guy. So I met with a guy for a minute.
Chuck Hernandez.
Oh no.
Oh, there's a new guy now. There's a new guy.
North.
Half of us left. So basically, half Northwest Side GOP left after they endorsed Richard Irvin at like midnight. It was really fun. It was like literally they like imagine you get a text at 11 p.m. being like, we're having an endorsement session. If you miss it, too bad. And it was a way for them to sneak in Richard Irvin, who also probably was another client, but was unpopular with the base, who was more on the Bailey or Jesse Sullivan or Gary Rabine. And so after that, like half of them left. And I got in trouble, and this is just me, we're just talking. This is just my experiences. As I always used to criticize them, as I felt like the entire club was just a big excuse for Matt Podrowski to hook up with Amy Kessam, who was like a candidate at the time, eventual committee person, 41st Ward committee person. And then they ended up dating, or I think they still are. They might be engaged right now.
Okay.
But almost every election was like him supporting her or her supporting him. So much of the resources and money and time went to their elections. And she's a part of Trump's Department of Labor now. But the question is whether it's hand or head. But I didn't say anything. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, that was a bad Trump pick. Because it's very hard for Trump to truly vet every single person. Because I believe she was a DeSantis supporter. All like urban supporter.
She was gonna anybody to get in that commissioner seat because the commissioners is no Republicans.
No, she's not running for commissioner. She's not running for commissioner.
Not no more.
No, and Sean Morrison's not running either. It's Gorman, right?
Yeah, Gorman. But she said she had that seat before.
She did.
Taking it back, yeah.
Her and Sean Morrison were like, I think they were both under Verdoliak, and they were both Democrat buddies. And then they've just been feuding for 20 years. And Morrison he's the godfather to Del Mar's kids, and is Aaron Del Mar's like into Cook County politics. So all the criticism on Aaron Del Mar really should be more directed to Sean Morrison. He's the Bill Parcells to Del Mar. I shouldn't call him Belichick. That's such an insult to Bill Belichick. But
the governor race is it's a wrap.
Here's what's going to happen. I'll give the audience a playbook of what's going to happen. Is the governor's race is a wrap, but they care about some state senate races, they care about some state rep races, and the Democrats have a big ego problems. They don't want to just win; they want to win big. And so what they're going to do is they're basically going to chicken walk Aaron Del Mar and Darren Bailey for the next couple months, with scandal after scandal after scandal. And Republicans are going to look really strange because most of the scandals probably going to be real. And you're going to look like a big doofus, like defending all sorts of claims. Like there's going to be a rape allegation coming up against Aaron. They'll probably be that was made in a court setting. Yeah, exactly. And he knows this. And in my opinion, it's the reason why Aaron's not running for governor. And I'm not saying he raped anyone. I'm just saying that there was an allegation that was made in a court setting. So there's documents with the allegation. And terrible, not just like rape, but like rape that produced a kid, allegations of potential like selling women, should we just get into that maybe?
Don Juan?
Yeah. No, well, he wasn't Don. He still is. Like he kind of is a jack of all trades entertainer. Like he does blackjack games and bachelor parties, that sort of thing. But part of his early history that no one talks about is he likes to pretend like he was going to be the next judo Olympian he's going to be the next warrior champion athlete at best ever. But then he had a kid and he had to go home and, man up and be a father. But the truth is that he wasn't necessarily the best at judo. He goes to the Judo Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs and either lazy or bad or for whatever reason, just has a falling out and just leaves the team naturally. But kind of, you know how kind of if you're on Saturday Night Live, you can kind of use that status to say I'm a Saturday Night Live writer. Or if I was on the special teams of the Cowboys, I can say I'm a Dallas Cowboy. And so Aaron kind of got to still enjoy that pedigree of being an Olympic, at the Olympic Training Center, while at the same time having kind of he did a lot of mud wrestling events, wet t-shirty, that kind of directions. at like in particular, and they wrote an article on it. So a lot of this is all online at Kicker's nightclub, which was an all-age nightclub, which is very sketchy. Different. Not just of drinking age, all ages. But in the allegations, which I probably should publish before Pritzker and the Democrats publish, they accused Ritzker of not just having mud wrestling shows, but Aaron would kind of allegedly would lift the tops and the bikinis of the girls who were mud wrestling, and then say that they're for sale. If you like what you see, come see me after the show.
At the all ages event. At
the all ages event, and then he would have a gang, and then he'd have a gang of followers of like younger men that would follow him around, and they would be like passing drugs around. There's an allegation of like an unregistered firearm. Like he was either a real gangster or a wannabe gangster is the allegations, and so like Democrats are really just gonna like just throw, because remember how they made a huge mistake. Remember when Darren and Aaron said that Chris Welch needs to resign because like what did he know? Democrats are gonna start asking Bailey like, what did you know about Aaron? Because Darren did all the opposition research. Darren is publicly saying I can't trust this guy. Like Aaron obviously knows that this happened because I talked to people that were involved in the court documents. So I didn't just read the documents. I talked to a witness who said they don't take back a single word. And so Bailey's going to basically be asked to distance himself from Aaron, but he really can't. He either can't, or maybe like Aaron's blackmailing or pressuring Bailey. There's that allegation around because their pairing is so uncomfortable. And then at the same time, there's going to be so much coming out about Bailey. Like no one talks about his schools, his own church, his association with Kyle Pittman, a child predator, a teacher. It's still on his Facebook page where he's with kids with a guy he basically was convicted of he was charged with 3 different child sex crimes, child porn, and like molesting kids, that sort of thing, as a teacher. But it got brought down to 1, so he's no longer a sex offender. And then this pastor made a really great speech about how their town there is the town of the albino squirrel, and how the albino squirrel, like every year they literally have a list of all the albino squirrels, and then they have a committee of people that have another list of all the feral cats and all the potential predator cats. And he goes like, how is it that our town protects the albino squirrel and your cat more than your children? And that was a very deep, powerful point. But they're really going to attack Bailey on that. Because what's Bailey going to say? He was a really nice guy. It was misunderstood. Those kids were lying. The video on his phone was just a funny video. And then his church is kind of creepy. I'm not going to lie. So I respect God, big time religious. But like, I do think there are certain things that kind of veer. And like, I don't respect paganism, I'll be honest. And I don't respect idol worship. And sounds like his church is one of those. It sounds like they do tongues, and no one talks about that. And and also how he's talking about how they're he's like him and Aaron are like, we want to pass a law where all non-for-profits need to like be subject to open records laws. As Democrats are going to, on this same subject, going to talk about Darren Bailey's non-for-profit in his 2 schools, where there was there was at least one complaint of a potential incident in the same subject they were talking about. But beyond that, the schools are just creepy. Like look them up yourself. Look up his church and look up his schools. They're all just, it looks like a Fuddruckers mixed with a gun range. And so like Bailey is talking about all these how Pritzker and Van Johnson are failing their kids, which is true. But I think Democrats are going to start digging up on what's going on at his schools. Because the schools just seem so creepy. And when there's a lack of transparency, I don't think it could be good. And his not-for-profit, I think, has an F or a D rating because it's just his family.
Damn.
So for 1 month, they're just, Kyle Shipman, you're looking up, and by the way, so Kyle Shipman was a big true crime situation for Southern Illinois, Missouri area. And a lot of the true crime heads were making the connection to Bailey back then. There's even accusations that like Cindy might have even attended the trial, or they might have even funded some of it. That's an unproven accusation. But if you look up on Bailey's Facebook, I think even right now, he's like, this is my friend Kyle Shipman at his tennis facility. And he's got like kids on his laps.
Oh man.
Like it's just going to be tough to vote for Bailey.
Yeah, it sounds.
that might be somebody I just might not tell anyone about, but I just can't vote for Pritzker. And Colin is just I don't want to sanction his buffoonery by voting for him.
I don't appreciate how he disrespects.
This is a different one.
Trump is not a problem.
Oh yeah, no. Well, all the disrespect Trump because there's a jealousy factor. He's doing exactly what Trump did, but failing Colin Corbett.
Oh, okay.
This is not. This is a fresh one. This is a fresh one. And now they're like, oh my goodness, this is a fresh one. This isn't Kyle Shipman. I'm saying that they're going to talk about new ones. I think
Now this just came out.
This was this morning. Yeah. It's just going to be a barrage of this and Aaron's history. And the Brett Corrigan situation.
But Pritzker is terrible. Like he's a sex offender too now.
Yeah, think about what they do they're giving condoms to kindergartners, right?
Right.
I guess that's a sex offense of over 1 million kids. So it's a very hard dilemma. Like sometimes the moral thing to do is not to vote, but as I gotten older, I sometimes feel like you sometimes have to man up and choose someone. And so it's just a morality play. And I guess to Bailey's credit, he hasn't been governor yet. But I'll be honest, Zoe, is my worry is I honestly worry Bailey wins, and then all these and then Terry Newsom is the head of the highways, and Brett Corrigan is going over the books of the entire state. I have some serious questions on can Bailey actually manage a state, but he hasn't been governor yet.
Tom DeVore is going to be a lawyer for something, and I can't.
He's running the Tom DeVore is going to run the lottery. It's going to be such a joke if Bailey wins, and there'll be no budget. And every liberal, just like Rauner, every liberal social issue will be passed because they'll do it as a way to bargain. Yeah, Rauner got through what's it called? The FIJA, basically Green New Deal. The abortion on demand law.
This man should have won.
Yeah. Well, sort of. He just I still think he's boring, but that's better than being a piece of shit.
Yeah, we would have helped him get the little. His lieutenant governor would have helped him spice it up, but he had the data, and he was. We need no data. We need to fire Brad. He needs some more training, and maybe this was a good experience for him, Ted. Because he to his credit, he never sold out. He did have a bunch of bad people around him, some grifters around him. But he definitely I never kind of seen him change who he was or on positions during the race. So hats off to that. Yeah, so I think that that the feds need to come and count them ballots because I promise you they stopped counting ballots downstate at 4% and just gave it to Bailey.
Yeah. That's oh no, Zoe, that's part of the problem too, is I'm just not excited about voting in general because it's just too easy to cheat in elections. And also no one cares about a Republican primary. And so that's part of the problem is that when there is cheating, is no one's going to look back at the owner Republican primary. So it's so much easier to cheat. And there was a great short documentary. It was on the channel Fusion. I believe it was about Clinton, New Jersey. So it was somewhere in New Jersey. Please help me look this up, chat. About a school board race in a very small town where only 20 to 30 people were voting. And one candidate, let's say it was 15-5. The candidate with 5 is what the heck? There's 6 people in my family and they all voted for me. This is nonsense. And they were able to actually go back and they realized it was a vote flip situation where the machine just flipped the votes. So she got 15, the other candidate got 5. Making up the numbers here. But that would have never been found out if she didn't have a big family. And so how often are these smaller elections cheated? So I'm not. Yeah, that's a huge concern.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm praying for him every day because this governor race is criminal.
Yeah, like it's criminal that we don't have a real response to Pritzker. That after everything that he did to this state and to everyone that lives here, we don't have a real lever or a check. I guess can't you? I think can you legally recall a governor? I guess that might be a potential problem, right?
Man. He is like when I say the reason why people are dealing with the probate issues in Chicago and probably all over, but I just know for Cook County, he's the one who advises the person that's over probate. He runs the family court system. He runs DCFS. Like this, like he's sick.
He's the new Madigan. He's got the biggest money in the Democratic Party, and also the business side of his family and that blind trust. They have their hands in so many areas, like you mentioned, where they're profiting from DCFS COVID potentially. So I guess the hope though is that Democrats are fighting. So that's the good news. That's like the only silver lining with the socialist communist types, is that they're fighting Pritzker.
They're fighting Pritzker, yeah.
Because he's rich.
He's
Good for them.
Billionaire.
Good for them.
Do you think he's worse than George Soros, or are they about the same?
They're probably in the same club. Like literally, they probably like hang out in the same Illuminati club. But I would say J.B. Pritzker is more relevant to your and my life as governor. So like directly, yes. But like if I like only God can judge. And George Soros might have snitched on Jews during the Holocaust. That's pretty bad. But you know, not as direct of an effect.
Ooh.
And if you're in England, he tanked he's been tanking currencies.
Download TikTok and enjoy
Are you familiar with the Capitol bill?
Which one?
The one that they passed, I think, like right before COVID. It was like the biggest one.
Oh, it had a name. Didn't have a
yeah,
some stupid name.
Yeah, they say he stole majority of that money, and nobody don't talk about it. So maybe we should dig into that. Maybe that could be me and your story together.
I agree, and I think the good news is Democrats don't all like Pritzker, and money is you can't just hide money completely, and so there probably are some fingerprints that we can find.
Yeah.
Of the problem though is the blind trust nonsense. As I think a lot of Pritzker's scam is him running it through this blind trust. Where he's like, how would I know?
Yeah, he doesn't know anything.
Never.
He gets
Whoa.
away with everything.
That's what happens when you're a good boss and I picked the right employee and I paid him fair wage. And so he just making the best stock trades.
Right.
And selling COVID equipment. But
one more before, because we almost hit one more person that I'm looking at during the race. I'm cheering this person on, and I think she has a good chance.
Christian Maxwell?
Yeah.
Well, I will say is that why isn't there a Christian Maxwell in all 17 different races? She's actually why aren't there more people that are actually trying? Because every election is just uphill with I'm bad with predictions because it depends on the price of gas in November, which I feel good about, but I can't. If I knew, I'd be on a private island trading stocks, and and I really have such a distrust of the voting process in Illinois. It's hard. I feel like, let's say Christian Maxwell gets 49% or 51%. Then a ballot arrives, and then 50.5. That happened to Anthony Bethman, Northwest Side GOP shout out. Where I'm not saying his election was stolen; it could have been, but on election night, Republicans didn't run anyone in. I think it was IL 10 for Senate for 30 years, 40 years, or barely tried. Kind of like Christian situation. He runs, and on election night, I think he had 50.5%. And then, the votes trickled in, got it down to 47, 46 or whatever. So Christian has that to worry about. That sucks. And her issue is she's not getting the backing that like is needed. And shame on the LGOP for that. And she talks about that.
Yeah. But I think
She's trying.
Yeah, I think she got it though. People tired of Jonathan Jackson. Like when it comes to like the blacks in politics, like we have been oppressed enough with believing that we're oppressed when we're not oppressed. It's just that nobody has broke down politics in a way that we can understand. Like we gotta use some people say like you gotta stop saying the word stealing. No, I have to say the word stealing because they need to understand that they're stealing. So I think that people are tired. I think that people want to see a change, and I don't think it has to be, you have to have a whole bunch of money. I think that once, I think people are getting ready for the mayor race. I think she has it. I think that if she continues to get out here, and I'm gonna do as much as possible as well. Like I can't stand Jonathan Jackson. Like his whole
me neither.
Like,
me neither.
It's just trash.
And to see the wealth, I remember going to Junior's office, like on 94th or I forgot where, and just kind of seeing how much wealth they have, and then seeing the areas around them is just criminal, and how much really is like they stole the political wealth, which could be a good thing. But instead of giving it back to the community, they hoarded it for themselves and their own. And it's absolutely terrible. It's tragic to think about. Like I almost don't want to name names, but like shout out to Lee Allen Jones, my political mentor. He had a great debate with Robert Blackwell, kind of even going back to the what Rainbow Push did during the mortgage crisis. About there were like so many times during Chicago history where a lot of people could have been helped, but instead very few political class was helped, and the people were sacrificed and sold.
And as we're supposed to be on a mortgage foreclosure right now, but the Democrats in. But if Kamala would have got in, it would have been another foreclosure crisis because that's their grift too. That's the grift, and then they put a Wells Fargo back in our community after Wells Fargo done foreclosed majority of our houses. Then they put one. They just opened one up in Bronzeville. I just saw it the other day. I stuck my middle finger up at it. I would never, ever get an account at Wells Fargo, and I don't understand why Negroes do. I don't understand why. They have literally took our homes.
No one went to jail after 2008.
No one went to jail.
Yeah, no consequences. And so I'm just a big believer when there's no consequences, things get worse. But I feel like it's a big every community that comes to America, like there is sometimes you have to do some grifting, but then you're supposed to give it back and then like evolve. And so that's a big part of the problem too. Is like that there was no benefit. There wasn't like a large group of people that actually benefited from the mortgage crisis. It's just a small group.
That's a small group.
Very small.
I got one more person that before we wrap this up. This guy right here. Tell me, where is he at? This guy right here. I'm going to make sure if you know who he is, you have any comments on him.
Oh yeah. Shout out to my dad. Love my father. Yeah, he's been through the ringer because like I literally when I started my blog, I didn't tell my partner, I didn't tell my father, I didn't tell my friends. It literally was like a diary of sorts where I'm seeing so much messed up things in politics. Let me just put that out there. Like after my second blog, he started getting like death threats, people trying to like have him disown me publicly, and then like they publicly talk about it and they brag about it. Like if he wasn't they're like if he wasn't so selfish and didn't disown his son, he would be a congressperson. And no, he thankfully he didn't. But it shows what bad people there are in politics. They'll literally come at someone's father to get at you, like almost like zombies wherever they can enter. But what a great father that he didn't disown me stand strong. I think it's a good thing that he lost because, Melissa Bean is a very tough competitor. She wasn't necessarily going to win. I thought Junaid was going to win. And then he probably would have had an easier path. And so we'll see what his political future holds. But
Governor.
he made it out alive, and he's a great human being.
He should
Very
be the
lucky.
governor. You might as well just try for governor.
I was like, probably, I guess we're on a podcast, but my personal opinion, as not his son, is I do think he should go for more an executive role, like a mayor of Chicago or governor. And Congress isn't necessarily for him. Like, because he's a really good leader. And being a congressperson isn't necessarily like a leadership role. You're kind of a suit. That's a big reason why I don't want to run for Congress, is you have to represent the district. I don't necessarily want to represent my district. I don't want to represent East Evanston. I love that West Evanston. Not the biggest fan of East Evanston or Uptown or the Arlington Heights. No offense, Arlington Heights. You guys are the problem. The collar counties, like the white liberals, the white suburban liberals, are why we have bad things on both parties politically. They elected the worst Republicans, like the Dennis Hasterts and the Mark Kirks, and now they're electing the J.B. Pritzkers and the Brandon Johnsons, so they can feel better about themselves because they have a pension, because their Social Security is coming in, because they bought their house for $150,000, so they can afford to like pretend to care about bullshit issues. So that's part of the reason why I don't want to be a congressperson. But he ran for Congress, and I think he would be more suited for like a mayor, governor, and we'll see.
Yeah,
I'll support him, or maybe I'll support his opponent just to help him. That was always an idea.
Nah, I think you gotta be team Mark. But yeah, I can see him like as a governor or something. So, but we gotta do this. I think we should do this like once a month. I think. Well, actually, we should do the next one maybe once a month. But when October, like when September, October hit, we probably gotta do it every week because election.
I'm game. Game.
Yes.
I really as though we bonded on Dick Gregory, and so man. And everyone just respect your elders. Study history. You're doomed to repeat it. It's a real shame how many people don't study up on political and socio-political history. Right. You would be on. It would solve everything.
That's what people are mad. I'm taking a Dick Gregory route. Like, everybody, they'll be like, Dick Gregory wouldn't be okay with you going Republican. I said, in Chicago, I'm beating the Democrats' ass right now. He is proud of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes.
I hope so. I would hope so. And I would think, that's so cool that you even just got to be around him and that you even can like speak to what his thoughts would be. But, yes. Oh yeah. How could he not? Because so much of what he talks about did touch Chicago. Everything from like the organ trafficking. Yeah.
How evil Chicago is, how evil the politics is, from Dr. King to
he talked about the Republican Party a lot.
Huh?
He talked about Trump and the Republican Party a lot, like the two Donald Trumps. And so, that was a great, he's so funny. Genius and brilliant. And just how, think about how much he impacted history from he bought the Zapruder film. Think about how different history would be if he didn't buy the Zapruder film. Like, we wouldn't have seen JFK's assassination if it weren't for him.
And
just so like
people don't talk about like what you were saying earlier in the beginning of the show when you were like about basically all this stuff is paid, so a whole bunch of grifting and stuff like that. And he's always said like, most of these parades around here are staged. They're getting paid. He'd be like, I've been around long enough to know that they're staged and stuff like that, and if people just ignore that, and that's what's happening right now.
Oh yeah, like how about Israel Palestine? I'm in West Rogers Park, and there's 50,000 Jews next to 50,000 Muslims, and there hasn't been a single Israel Palestine protest on either side. Exactly. And so that's just like one example. Is like so many of these, like a lot of the J6s, a lot of it are just whatever the agenda. On either side, it's fake. That's why I personally try not to. But at the same time, like you go into City Hall, that's where people need to go. They don't need to go on an overpass waving Trump flags. They need to go to Chicago City Hall. So thank you for doing that, Zoe, because that's part of it too, is they want to distract people that have good intent, like a fork in the road.
Yeah, because Robert De Niro is trying to make his next indie film for Tribeca. Like, I don't know, like, I just feel like I tell people all the time, like, we are I'm in a twilight zone. There's no way in the world that I'm around a whole bunch of morons of all different nationalities.
Oh, we are. We are. Well, that's the Bible. That's 80% of the slaves want to stay in Egypt. And just every decision in the Bible, like so many of the decisions in the Bible, they're like, but we don't want to. But we're hungry. We don't want to go. We like it here. And so I do think that's just a cross-cultural thing. It's just human nature. And that's why I do think it's important to fear God above all else. Because if you fear anything else, you'll the devil will convince you. But what about? Isn't this smarter? Like Dan, there's gonna be so many calls for Danielle to not run. I bet.
Oh, they're already like I've been looking at. I don't know if you are familiar with Black Facebook, but if you go on Black Facebook, they are it's a lot of like the influencers, the Black Chicago, I guess, activists here that are pushing for Brandon Johnson, saying that basically that the Republicans is cutting the deal and putting Danielle in the crossfire. I'm like, we're the new Republican Party. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And Brandon Johnson's not getting back in. Like, he's not getting back in.
He has the easiest pathway.
Chicago cannot stand him.
Yeah, they're all paranoid. That's what's ridiculous. It's like he's the incumbent mayor. Like, he should relax and focus on his record. But instead, they hire trolls, and I'm sure a lot of it is. I'm sure a lot of it's inauthentic. People getting paid.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you'll see a bunch of great acting. And I'm sure you'll see some. I'm sure some will make some compelling points. That's the problem too. Is even if someone's paid, they can sometimes be occasionally a little bit right. But I'm thankful that Danielle's running. Republicans need a voice. Like, there are no Republican options. Alexi Giannoulias is not a Republican option. Madigan Mendoza is not a Republican option. The biggest number one Chicago Democrat lobbyist, John Kelly, who a bunch of Republicans are endorsing right now, is not a Republican candidate. He's the number one Democrat lobbyist. He's the Bally's lobbyist. Nice guy, like funny, nice guy, but it's pretty shameful to see some pretty bigger Republicans endorse him.
Maybe in 2 weeks we'll figure out a date. Maybe the second episode will be the mayors.
That'd be pretty fun. Yeah. That'd be pretty fun. Or after some death threats. Hopefully we get some death threats.
They're still done right now. I mean, they're probably going crazy right now. They're probably trying to dig up all the tweets and stuff you said about me. They're going to get all tweets up that I said about you. I don't care.
We're adults. So like when we started talking on this podcast, we were joking about the mugshot stuff.
Right.
I think I yelled like murder one, but they were like, adults can because yelled murder one, but adults can joke and because we're also focused on bigger issues and not small-mindedness, is we're focused on the journey at hand. And so, like, the joking doesn't matter, and the small things. Because I'm sure there'll be a 30-page Facebook post of just going through every
physical flaw. To make it go viral. I don't care, because there's a clip of Malcolm X, and Malcolm X, he says that basically the Democratic Party is. Entertainers are nothing but puppets. And then he mentions Dick Gregory. So if you look at all of the stuff after he said that, he realized that probably, Dick Gregory, you about that, you're about the life or whatever. But if I was to take that little part and keep playing that or whatever, people take that little part. Well, Malcolm X said Dick Gregory was nothing but a puppet. Yeah, when you first start out, you don't know who's the opposition. You don't know what's going on. You just know that at the end of the day, you got an issue, you got a problem. You got people saying, well, don't talk to this person, don't talk to that person, don't talk to this person, don't talk to that person. But the whole time, they don't want me to talk to you because you dig up.
Wait, you can declutter on Vinted? Yep, earn cash from homeware, fashion.
You FOIA stuff and you get the facts. And they're mad at that because they can't sue you. Because a lot of the stuff is public records. It's FOIA.
No threats so far. Absolutely. Yeah, on the DeVore article that we started the episode on, DeVore the lawyer, he never threatened me. But his like chief of staff like sent like a really weird ChatGPT-esque like long message like demanding I take it down. And I asked him like, where am I wrong? Like, tell me specifically which line is wrong. I'll fix it immediately. And then he just changed the subject, and then he ended up blocking me. That's usually how it goes. Because like with Terry, I had a group with a witness, a call with him where I asked him if he was a J snitcher, someone that snitched on January 6th. Very politely, I'm like, hey, like Biden really went after, like how, like do you have a really good lawyer? Like how did you not like get indicted on anything? And he just, yeah, I haven't really thought about that. And just try to change the subject, and I kept pressing, and then 1 week later, I'm a gay special needs Pritzker plant. Because by the way, that is a good. I was a debate kid in high school with like in the Charlie Kirk era. He did a different kind of debate. He did Congress debate out in Lincoln Douglas, and that is like if you can't win the debate, like the deflection is a good tactic. So that's why, like, on one level, I get it. I get it on one level. Because, like, by the way, if someone is a Pritzker plant and they present real information, that should be relevant. Or if someone's fat or special needs or gay or anything, but they present real information, it should be relevant.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna pray for him. He's like basically, I don't know if you know who Gator Bradley is, but he's got the white version of Gator Bradley.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Gator Bradley in a informant too. That's why he ain't really pushing for Larry to come.
Well, there's a lot of informants. The informant industry, that show must be a whole deep dive, because most informants are drug informants or gang informants, and there were a lot in the Chicago music scene in like the 2010s. Anytime you see someone like showing guns or selling drugs on Instagram Live, probably an informant. Was my rule of thumb. Like, what? Yeah, wasn't Bandman Kevo? Isn't that confirmed at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those abs, them abs are. He went and got some surgery or something. He's a whole nother. That's a whole nother thing.
Oh, that's a whole other video. We can go into the Bandman, but honestly, I think it's good preparation because people need a frame of reference. A lot of the predatory behavior in the Chicago music scene is relevant to the Chicago Republican political scene. It's the same things.
No, you're right.
Especially in the 2010s. Comfortable truth. Think about how much black wealth was created in the 2010s. That was just ruined or shipped to LA, or squandered by a lot of like white, like creepy millionaires.
See, that's why they hate you. That's why they hate you, Max. You're not supposed to tell the secrets. Okay. You can't tell.
Exactly.
The
Shut them off. Shut it off. Shut it down. But they don't. That's why they don't hate me. They just hate what I'm saying. It's more like I'm a party pooper, I would say.
Yeah, and that's what basically.
I feel like I do get along with them. It's just what I'm saying. It's not my person.
The same with me. They'll be like, why you always want to take down? They'll be like, why you always want to take down a black person? I'm taking down everybody that's taking this public funding. That if you're taking the TIF money, it's all y'all. It's not just blacks. It's the Hispanics. It's the whites. It's the Jews. It's the LGBTQs. It's the trans. Y'all. The HIV and AIDS scam money. That's a whole nother situation. It's just that they're mad. They say like, well, you're taking it personal. Well, yeah, I'm taking it personal because y'all knocked down a building and have not compensated my people. Like what? I don't. So yeah. I
They
told
could give you flack for that too, though. It's ridiculous.
right.
Yeah, say no, because but I do think it's fake. I really think that they work for like someone or some entity that's affected by whoever you're exposing, and they don't really mean it. Because when you have a standard or principle, it's judged about how you treat your own, not strangers. That's what the Bible's all about. The priestly class, the Levites, got that way because they killed all the pagan idol worshippers at the golden calf, the set of the golden calf. It's how you judge, it's how you treat your own to show if you really have values or standards, or if people can trust you. Like, how would any audience trust you if you had a few cutaways, which a lot of people do. A lot of people in media do, like the Maze Jacksons of the world.
Ooh.
Shots fired. Yeah.
Yes, Maze Jackson. What's it in for black people? Nothing.
Wasn't he on the like top black sellout list? It was like the Defender. I forgot. There was a newsletter in the 2010s when they were calling him a sellout.
Like, he is the coon of the coonie of the coon. Him, Matt McGill. Like, he's just
fake.
Own. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, I think he's just fake. I just don't like how he pretends like he's a rebel. He puts.
See my mom and my ex-wife don't give a shit if I'm her dedicated. That's awful. I should have said that. Damn her, huh?
I do hope the road stays bumpy.
My lady, the terrain is most vigorous.
And tell me, is your estate as large as they say?
Oh, my lady, it is narrow, but quite long. Give me your gold, your jewels,
What in God's
consider them Bangladeshi. That's absolutely true. And in fact, they would say this is like, oh, this is like a colonial mindset. This is white privilege. This is all, all of the shit they would come up with. Yet they do the exact same fucking thing. And if we don't just accept it, because they'll call us racist, then most people are too scared to get past that hiccup of like, oh, they're going to call you a racist. You literally have to just go right over it and say, okay, fine. If you want to consider me racist, that's cool. And then you just logically have to show where there's the double standards and where it's what they're actually asking for is a standard that no other country would be expected to take, and no other group of people, aside from Westerners, would have to endure. So no, just fuck these people. Like, who cares about their stupid racism accusations?
So
and just
where do you think? Where did they learn that language from?
From the left, absolutely.
Yeah, from the left.
I mean, it's been weaponized, and so the left has. If you can look at Angela Merkel. She's admitted, I think, within the last year, that she brought in all of those so-called refugees into Germany in order to fight the quote-unquote far right. You have that new piece of shit prime minister of Spain and his party. They're like, well, we need to bring in 500,000 people in order to fight the far right. And these people have no problem bringing in a bunch of dirty, disgusting pieces of shit that don't belong in your fucking country in order to stay in power. I mean, we can look at what happened when Biden, ended up getting elected. It's super obvious, but and they've caught like I hate to, it's like cringe to use him as an example, but that what's his name, James O'Keefe, when he had that Democrat operative saying how like, yeah, it's basically just like get more votes. I mean,
all right, Pepe, what about me, man?
Why else did they do it?
What about me, Pepe?
You gotta go.
Yeah, so far I don't think you passed the test. I would put you. I would tell ICE to shackle you and put you on a plane back home.
Nah. Bro, I'm just talking about the stuff that you talk about for America, yeah? What's up with America?
Well,
man?
either you get to choose Russia or India. Which one? It's up to you.
Which language you speak?
I chose America. So what's up?
It's not your country, unfortunately.
Do you know what the word banshot means?
It's not my country. No, Pepe, it's not my country.
You don't know what banshot is?
Literally.
This ain't Pokemon. This ain't Pikachu. I choose you. Okay, you belong to India, right? You need to go back to India.
Russia, my teachers,
No, you need to go back to India.
No,
you need to embrace your curry roots.
All right, guys.
You need to embrace your curry roots. You know what you are? You're a curry coon. And I'll tell you why you're a curry coon. Okay? Because you're trying to LARP and you're trying to live in another man's land that does not belong to you. As opposed to standing, standing 10 toes down, as opposed to standing 10 toes down on your curry toes. On your curry toes.
I'm not talking to you.
And fighting to get your shit back. That's what you should be doing. You should be going back to India to make India better again. That's what you should be doing. Okay, but you don't know. Yeah. You need to go back. You need to go back. That's just it. You need to swim back. I don't care if you fly back. You need to go back.
Yeah. Okay, all right. You done? Okay, you done. All right, Pepe. What's up, man? So, the fuck we talking about, man? What's up with Pepe, man?
Well, here's how I think it should be. And this is I'm not joking when I say this. Like, we choose you. You don't choose us.
No, I'm not talking about India and all this stuff, man. I'm just talking about the general thing that we guys are
but
talking
even
about.
It doesn't matter what country you're from. Like, I'm obviously way more open to immigration from primarily European.
I'm not open to immigration. I'm not really open to immigration.
So then go back. So why are you not open to immigration, but you open to immigrating here? That doesn't even make any sense. You need to go back.
Well, no, it makes perfect sense because a lot of these people that come here. And by the way, if white people were in the same position as a lot of these minorities, they do the exact same thing. And so they form a coalition on the left just to basically try to get power for their own group.
Yeah, let me acknowledge to this guy who's illiterate. So yeah, I'm a diplomat. So
Who's
you cannot
illiterate? You
even-
can barely speak. Listen, I don't give a shit if you're a diplomat or if you're Donna Summers, you motherfucker. Okay, at the end of the day, you can barely speak English. Okay,
Yeah.
I will wipe my ass with your
I
diplomatic
can barely
papers. You
speak
understand?
English.
I will
Bro, you
wipe
know
my
who my favorite
ass
rapper
with your
is?
diplomatic papers. Ain't nobody give a
Motherfucker, I
fuck.
can fuck you
Ain't
up
nobody
every
give a fuck
day.
about your curry
Alright.
papers, fool.
Alright,
Okay, so
alright.
at the end of the day, yes, all right, you are guests here, motherfucker. Remember that. Your bitch ass is a guest here. Remember that.
The pussy ass people are gonna talk shit every day. Of course, yeah, you are the one. Yeah,
And that's why you need to send these motherfuckers back.
Talk shit.
Send them back on their curry burning shit back to where they
shit
can.
every day. Yeah, what's up? That's done. Are we done? Are we done? Can we talk?
What language do you speak?
I want to become pilot and I will
Yeah, he's not done.
Listen. Doctor, what did you
Let
say
him
to
talk.
him?
Let him talk. man.
Doctor, why did you say to him you barely speak English? Why don't you say American? Because there is no American, so you speak a language that does not belong to you. English is another country. Why you Americans you don't have a language?
You're speaking it, buddy.
English is English. It's for England. It's not for you. English is for
If you were
Here we
speaking
go.
English,
This is
you
what I
could-
was
you
talking
could
about
say
now.
it's
difference, right?
Now we got two
UK
foreign tongue
English
shit
and
pigs sitting up in here talking shit to Americans.
There's a difference.
We got two
between-
foreign tongue shit pigs sitting up in here trying to talk down to Americans. This is crazy.
There is no American. You don't have a
Go learn to what you don't have toilet paper in your country.
African American.
You wipe your ass with your knuckles. Shut up.
We have Arabic. We have Arabic.
Okay,
you don't have a
No,
language.
that's even worse. You touch little kid.
You don't have a language. You don't have a land.
Yes, America has
You
a
are not
language. It's
people.
English.
You
It's
are not
American.
people.
It's American English.
There is no American. There is no
Yes,
American
it's
English.
American English.
There
It's
is
a
no
slang
American
version
English.
of
There is
UK
only
English.
there
Is
is
what
the
it
only
is.
English. There is
We
only
are literally a new world.
Well, let me ask you.
there is only
Well, let me ask you.
English that
Let me ask you
belongs to
this.
England.
Why does a group
English-
of people?
Knuckle ass wiping
English.
street
This
shitters.
is this is a legit question. This is a
English
legit
belongs
question.
to England,
Why does
not to
why
America.
does a group of people who know they're not welcome?
Pepe, your mic is low.
Why do they go to
Your mic
this?
is low.
Pepe, your mic is Chinese.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, I'm serious.
Even your mic
I'm
is
asking a
Chinese.
legit
Even your
question.
mic is
Why do a
Chinese.
group of people that they know they're not welcome at certain countries?
America
Why
has
do y'all
only
go there?
bitches. America has only
Okay, do you know
bitches.
what but you know what Arabs have? They have a bunch of fucking dead men who got their dicks put in the fucking dirt by American men, you piece of shit. And by the way, we are a new world country. Yeah, what language? We speak English. Okay, we were founded by people from Europe. You stupid cocksucker. Just like how Mexicans didn't exist 500 years ago and Brazilians didn't exist 500 years ago, they exist today. And guess what? You fucking guess who runs the fucking world, you piece of shit? Americans. How does that make you feel? You fucking obsolete Arab cocksuckers. You fucking innovate nothing. All you fucking do is pump oil out of the fucking desert. Just kidding. You have Westerners do that for you too, because you guys are fucking worthless. Eat a fucking dick.
You have no culture.
Yeah,
You
hold
have
on,
no
stop, hold
culture.
on.
No culture. We are the mass exporters
You
of
have
culture.
no culture.
Everywhere
You
you
have
go
no-
throughout the fucking world, they are watching American movies. They're watching they're using American fashion. They're using American music. That is literally, we are literally the culture of the fucking world. You fucking retard.
Just shit, man. Just
No,
shit.
nobody's walking around in a muumuu with a diaper on top of their head like y'all in your shithole country. People are dressing in American fashion. Thank you, Pepe. Go ahead, keep packing them up.
They still haven't answered my
These
question.
ass wiping with their knuckle dragging mud hut pigs.
See, now,
You're
you
a bunch
haven't
of mud
answered my
hut
question,
pigs.
and I bet they'll
Pigs.
refuse to answer.
Squiggly tailed pigs. That's why they don't eat pork. It would be silence of the pigs. That's why they don't eat pork.
The Indians. The land
Hey,
belongs to
hey,
Indians.
you don't have to.
Do you know what happened in 1492? In 1492,
Nothing.
in 1492, in the Iberian Peninsula, the Spanish ended up kicking out. They ended up kicking out the Muslims. And guess what? Guess what year the Spanish Golden Age started? In 1492. That is when they sailed across the fucking globe, and they ended up conquering shit, and they did so goddamn well. Once you fucking retards, we're no longer lording over them.
America.
You guys are jealous. You guys, Muslims have a goddamn inferiority complex.
Columbus.
Hold on, Indian man. Mexican, Arabs have an inferiority complex because it is literally the West. We are the ones who have literally driven the fucking world for the last 500. Sidelined, you goddamn monkeys. That is all we've fucking done. You guys are worthless.
Motherfucker. You talking about
Arabs
me?
are monkeys. Okay, somebody goo this Indian retard. He's like so irrelevant. He doesn't even know what side he's fighting on. He's just swinging.
You see, they haven't even answered my question.
No, you chill out, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You're not coming to America.
Fuck America. Fuck America.
No, fuck you, you dirty goddamn Arab. You fucking stinky dick fucking camel fuckers. Eat a fucking dick.
What the fuck I'm doing? What the fuck I'm doing in America?
Go start another fucking version of SARS or whatever. What is that shit that version of SARS got from camels?
I have
You filthy fucking beast. Eat a dick.
500 camels. Every camel costs $1,000. What the fuck I'm doing?
Oh, it costs $1,000. Okay, that's amazing.
My passport can let me go to everywhere. Fuck America. What the fuck I'm doing to America?
Okay, what the fuck are you go enjoy your desert shithole then. Eat a dick.
What the fuck I'm doing in America?
Yeah, fuck you, Mr.
The fact that we haven't invaded you guys and just taken your fucking oil is fucking mind-boggling to me. You fucking retards can't run anything.
Shit, America.
What the fuck I'm doing in America?
Can I go to a country that is the president is Donald Trump? What the fuck is that?
Okay, what the fuck is your
But
country?
again,
You
answer my
have
question.
stupid. You have.
Edward wants to speak. Edward, go ahead, Edward. Mr. Edward.
Tell these sand niggers, Edward. Call them sand niggers, Edward.
Fuck America.
Shut the hell up,
Okay,
bitch.
So I don't use that language, but
Pepe, do
what
you
I like-
remember me, man?
Quit being a scaredy cat nigger, Edward, and call them sand niggers.
Okay, Pepe, stop, seriously. I'm not chaotic like you. Okay? So I'm gonna behave as an American. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay? So one of the things, both Harsh and Shy, I don't know what countries you're from, but I'd like to know from your point of view, what is your country's foundation? Whatever country you're from, what's the foundation of your country?
My country, okay, at least my country was not stolen from the Indians, and my
No,
language.
God, I didn't ask you the foundation of, just answer the question directly. I don't need you to tell me what was.
We are.
Yeah, shut the
we
fuck
are-
up, man.
we are-
Pepe,
we
do
are-
you
shut the
remember
fuck
me,
up,
Harsh,
man?
Shut the fuck up.
Harsh,
Shut the fuck up.
Harsh.
We are a Muslim Arabic country.
Okay, so what's your political view as your country? What is it?
Our political view is we don't have a military bases in our land. We are free, and America cannot do anything for our land.
Okay, so then you came up and you decided. I don't know. Have you been to America before?
No, and I don't like to go there. Fuck.
No. Whether you've been here or not, I just asked the question. Okay. You don't have to-
I've never been to the U.S.
Never.
Okay. So then you make some strong comments about the fact that we don't have a language, you don't understand our culture, you don't know anything about us. So I'm just curious, why would you decide to come on an American stage, an American room, Trump's house, and decide to criticize the United States? Why?
Okay, I'll tell you why.
On an
Because
American
America
act.
is okay. Because America is the most selfish country I've ever seen in my life. The most arrogant country I've ever seen in my life. You said now English, which is English. The root is England. Does not belong to you. The land. You know, the history of the land was stolen. You have no culture. We saw the World Cup.
All
That was
lands
so
were
fucking
stolen.
Okay,
look.
most of the quote-unquote Arabs are conquered goddamn people that were Arabized. Eat a dick.
Hold on, guys.
Tell me only one
Let him
thing.
finish.
Okay, I have a question
Let
for
him
you. I have a
finish.
question for you. I will turn it on.
I have a question.
Hold on.
I have a question for you.
I know. Could you hold your question for a
Tell
second?
me
though, please?
only one thing. There
Could
is.
you hold the question for a
Okay,
second?
go ahead. Go ahead.
So you use the word England, right? So do you know what the United States was before they became a state? What were we?
You were some Europeans and African people, and you migrate there. Like you, for example, you are African. You are African nigger, and you went to the U.S.
No, Shah, I'm gonna ask you a question. Real simple. I like to have a dialogue with you. I'm not trying to back you up or nothing. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you ever hear the 13 colonies?
No, and I don't like to hear about it because it doesn't exist.
Oh, no.
These are
This is
the
what
13 colonies. Listen, these
The
are
13 colonies are what we were before we became the United States. Before we had a war revolution.
Before. There are no America before.
Huh?
There is no America. The land belonged to the Indians, and
It didn't. America, the goddamn name, okay, was literally a name named by the people that came here, not the Native Americans. You fucking moron.
Let other people.
Okay, hold on, Pepe. Hold on.
Even your president is German. Donald Trump is German.
Shop. Okay, first of all, obviously, you said you didn't know about the 13 colonies. You did not know about the United Kingdom. You don't know anything about the actual.
I know the United Kingdom. I know the.
Can I finish? I didn't interrupt you. I won't interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All I'm saying to you is that you come on an American app, an American space, an American room, and yet you cannot promote your own country. Just promote your country. You don't have to come and criticize another country.
This is not American. This is not American app.
Okay, no. It's not American app. Who owns it?
Who told you that the engineers they are not from China, Korea, all around the world? Application was made by some engineers.
Oh, really?
It's an American app, but hate to break it.
We don't know if it's because even
who owns the app right now, child?
We don't know the people who manufacture the app. Maybe some. I mean, all around the world.
Guys, hold on, guys. You know what, Edward?
It's literally an American app. We know who the two owners are.
There is
They're
nothing American. There is nothing.
They have names. We know who they are.
I'm gonna land on this, shot. David, 1 second. Shot, I'm gonna land on this. Shot, what I would like for you to do, instead of you coming on an app talking about Harsh, could you put your mic on mute, please? Could you do that, please? Thank you. So, Shah, this is what I want you to be aware of. Whenever you come on an app, you want to criticize a whole country of people. That's not very good, okay? The reason why...
This is not criticizing. Telling the truth is not criticizing. I said there is nothing called American.
Right now, what you're doing right now, you're interrupting, right? I think that you know, because I believe that you have a higher level of intelligence than a lot of people. But to have a dialogue...
He really doesn't, though.
Take carnage. Come on, guys. Guys, listen, one thing I've learned in life is that we got to try to be on the same page. That's all. Okay?
And I understand. I can't be on the same page as Muslims.
Okay, I got it.
Wow, don't be anti...
Fuck you, David.
How the fuck did David get up here?
Okay, can I finish, guys?
Illuminate.
Did everybody go... Okay, thank you. So, Sean, this is what I would like to...
You guys need to kick David and Harsh off the stage. Like, seriously, you're not going to have a conversation while they're up here.
Yeah, you got. I have no idea why you guys are doing this right now, because it's really.
They're entertained by it clearly, but it's like we know they're not. You're not going to have a conversation.
I think before speaking, I think Pepe should be the last one speaking because he's from Salvador.
All right, shut your dirty fucking Muslim.
You're from
mouth.
Salvador.
Fuck your guy.
You're from Salvador or Mexico. I don't know.
I'm not from there. Look at where you live, you dirty piece of shit.
It's not American face.
Okay,
by the way, Shah's Persian. He sounds Persian.
Okay, hold on, guys. Illuminate.
Prussian or Persian?
Okay,
he's from Salvador.
Oh my goodness! Could you guys have mic control at all?
It's pronounced El Salvador.
Okay.
Shut up, Peruvian.
Oh, let him finish.
God bless everybody. It's amazing. I don't know what happened to the educational system in 2026, but Shah, this is my last question for you. Do you know anything at all about the 3 documents that America founded itself on?
That's bullshit. I know that is bullshit. We only have the land of India that was stolen by the U.S. Finish.
Okay.
I thought India was stolen by the British.
Okay, hold on. That's not our 3 documents.
You can't talk about the Declaration of Independence.